Hi everyone and welcome to More Than a Conqueror. I'm Anjali and with me, of course, are the most amazing ladies, my good friends. Oh, you! Jihan, Sherry, and Nisi, and we're so happy to be talking about something that's, I think, pretty important to all of us. It's an issue that deals with the heart. It's an issue that we all deal with in life, and it's money, finances.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? It's money turns into hard issues. It always turns into a hard issue.
Yeah.
So, how we manage our finances and why that's so important to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Why is it important to talk about it, first of all?
Ooh. Well, I think just like what you said starting off, finances, money, it's a survival need in this world. And so that is definitely something in our hearts that we cling to.
Yeah.
And so that's what keeps us, just attached to everything. Being selfish, just like I need to worry about me, what can I do for me? And so it keeps us from being generous. So it's something really important in our hearts.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying.
What does God say about how we manage our finances? What does He instruct us to do?
So for me, from the word, it says in Proverbs 3:9, and I've been living by this verse for the last 3 years. Can't say I've always done that, but better to get it late than never, right? And it's Proverbs 3:9, and it says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. And it's just a concept of obedience. So it's like you honor God with the very first, first. So the moment that I get paid, literally what I do is I go into my bank statement on my phone, and I pay my church 10%. That's exactly what I do. And I've just seen such a difference. Before I used to just tithe, but when you do it with the first fruits, what God does is unbelievable. Yeah, it's obedience.
Awesome. Nisi. I see the wheels turning. That's why I said it.
For me, finances are so important because, like you said, it's an issue of the heart.
Yep.
And a lot of people, can argue about whether the tithe still applies or not. But again, when it really comes down to it, it's still a matter of the heart. Whether biblically, we can say Old Testament or it's New Testament, and does it apply more? Or it does. Whenever I tithe, it's just a constant heart check. It's a reminder to not be attached to things, to money, or to what they say mammon, which is your possessions. And the word says that for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And so again, it all comes down to the heart. But I find it interesting that when we have conversations about finances and how tithe is such a touchy issue for a lot of people then the question comes up where, do I tithe on the net? Do I tithe on the gross?
Yeah.
And it's like, why is that even an issue? But that's how powerful, how much of a heart issue it really is that people even go to that length. It's like, where do I walk the line?
Yeah.
How far can I walk that line and still be on this side versus that side? When have I crossed over? So it's really interesting to see people's discussions, the questions they ask when it comes to finances.
When we talk about it's a heart issue, can we go a little bit deeper into that? I just want to make sure that there's no questions about that. When we say it's a heart issue, what exactly does that mean to you?
Cool. I'll tell you, this Friday, actually, I felt God saying, give $50 more than what I normally tithe. And I was like, is that God, or is that what, come on, $50 more? I already am tithing, plenty. And not that I was wrestling with God, but when I was doing it on my mobile app and I was hitting send, I'm like, okay, it's $50 more. Literally, the end of the day on Friday, my manager sent me a text and he's like, did you check your email? And I'm like, no. And so he's like, you have an extra $1,250 in there that I won this contest that I didn't even know that I was in the running for. And I was like, and it was $1,250 and it was just $50. And so it was like God paid me 5 times the amount.
Wow.
It was just insane. And I'm like, and that was just this Friday, and I'm like, it's the concept where you can never outgive God. You just can't.
Absolutely.
You can't.
So
So it's
true.
like you play this game, and I'm like, okay, I'll give you $50, and then he gives you he blows my mind with that. Yeah. So that's where I think it's a hard issue, because if you're wrestling with how much to give God, he always will outgive you.
Yeah.
Always.
It's awesome.
So true.
So good.
For me, it's the generosity of it and what it does to our hearts, because it's something that's so close to us and a survival need. And so you know, there's a girl that I work with, and she's so on my heart lately because she's someone who has talked about not necessarily feeling like she knows God as much as the people in her church, but this girl's generosity like blows my mind, and that is the very heart of God in all that he does, and the way that she buys muffins for everybody in this place. And it's like the type of personality you have, she'll get you that type of muffin. If you're a spicy person, she's gonna get you a cinnamon spice muffin.
Love that.
Like that's what she does.
She cares.
And she like money, like it does not do anything for her. She loves to give like that. And I'm like, you understand the heart of God almost, I bet, more than half the people in your church right now, and you don't even understand that. So I mean, just the generosity of it. And I think that that's why God is like, he has so many scriptures in the Bible talking about money and finances, because he's like, I know it's a hard issue, but if you can get this and you can be generous with your finances, you can be generous in every other thing in your life.
Right.
And that's when people get to really know who God is.
That's good.
The generosity in our lives.
Generosity.
So good.
That's good.
How do we feel we're being generous in our lives?
How do we feel
How do
we're
we
being
feel
generous?
we're being generous? Are we being generous?
Oh, there's always many more ways to go. Working on that forever.
It's even being generous
It's a
with our
work in
time. It's
progress.
like serving, or you know, you were just talking about babysitting somebody's
Yeah.
children, and that it all stems from issues of the heart. And so I think, yes, finances. It's like, oh, do we want that new pair of shoes, or are we gonna tithe, and then also, you know, are we gonna serve people with our time? Also with compliments. I know our pastor, she talks about that. She's like, be generous with your compliments.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you see somebody's Instagram and there's a picture of them and they look great, tell them. It's like, why are we going to hold back and be like, jealous of that? No, be generous with your compliments. It stems, it overflows exactly like what you said. It's the heart of God, the heart of our Father. He's so generous.
Yeah, he is.
I think it's important to note that we're all a work in progress, and I can't even say I'm a generous person overall, because there are just some things that are naturally based on how God created us to be. We're more natural, like generous in. I am a service oriented person, so no doubt about it. It's really easy for me to do things for people. But if you ask me for finances, I'm not even gonna lie, I have a hard time with it. But I also have a terrible experience, you know, with my family and my past when it comes to money and how it's destroyed lives. So I have a different experience.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to rather, you know, at the heart of it with finances is generosity. But the whole point of it, I think a lot of people feel trepidation about being generous. Like, I have to sacrifice something. I have to, and yes, essentially the root of it is sacrifice, but really what is, like you were pointing out, it's to be excited. Like, we need to be excited because it's an opportunity to experience God and to be closer to the heart of God, which is generosity itself, because you cannot outgive him, you know. So
It seems like a work in progress too, and just not just being generous, but being generous with a grateful heart and with joyfulness. Because when we give to God, I mean, just like if you were to give me something and you're like, here you go. Here, Anjali, just take it. 'Cause I know you need it. Let's just not even talk about it.
Yeah. It's good.
That's very different than if you said, Anjali, I know you need this.
Yeah.
And it is my honor to give this to
yeah,
you.
that's good.
To receive that
yeah.
is a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think it blesses the heart of God when we give
Absolutely.
with that particular heart, with that mentality.
Yeah.
I know that's what he wants from us. And again, it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Always and forever.
I told you it was a juicy topic. This is a good topic
That's good.
because our heartstrings are always attached to money.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll keep talking about it. And for you guys at home, make sure and check us out. We've got lots of different topics. So we've got something else coming up pretty soon. Stay with us.